Hi there. The focus of today's tutorial is node lock licenses, and the goal is to show you the whole process, so from start to finish, both in the dashboard but also on the coding side, how you can implement node locking in your applications. And before we start, I would like to first define what a node lock license is. So normally, if you want to restrict the license to a specific set of machines, you either have the node locked approach or the floating license approach. We'll cover floating licenses in a different video, and today our goal is on node lock licenses. And essentially the difference is, whenever let's suppose I've issued a new license and it's limited to 2 machines. Then, if I would like to activate a third machine, in order for that to work, I would have to deactivate manually one of those existing machines. Whereas with the floating license approach, this happens automatically. So it will look at the concurrent number of machines at that particular point in time. So for example, we have the same license with 2 machines. In the floating license approach, then when one of the machines is inactive, it will automatically be deactivated. So no need to call a specific method to do that. But today we will look on node lock licenses, and let's first start with the dashboard and how you can create a new node lock license. So we can click on once you go to the product page and click on the create new key, we can keep everything else as it is, and let's set this maximum number of machines to keep with the same example that we just discussed. So it's very important that if you want to make sure that your license is limited to a specific set of machines or instances, the maximum number of machines has to be greater than 0. So now we've created that license, and it has this limit of 2 machines. On the coding side, it works similar to in other languages as well. I'm going to use Python in this example, and what I've done is went to this key verification part, and I've copied essentially all the code. We've discussed what these are previously, but you can obtain all of these variables in the dashboard. So RSA public key, you can get this new access token, go to the access token page, and then you have to hit check the activate box, and product ID, which you can also obtain from the dashboard, and then that's it. I already have a project here for our current setup, and let's see how it works. So we go back to the dashboard, we copy this license, and we paste it here. So, and let's see if it works. License is valid, so everything worked. And if we now refresh this page, we can see that a new machine has been activated. Now let's suppose, for example, we have this scenario where we want to activate a new machine. And to support this scenario, I will make a customization to this. So this is it's not something you would do in production, but just to show you how it works when you, for example, want to activate, when a new machine is activated. And we would have to remove this line because we've changed the identifier. And I run, the license is valid. And now if we refresh, we can see that we have this new machine with test. However, let's suppose we have this third machine trying to activate. The license doesn't work, cannot activate the new device as the limit has been reached. So this will prevent new machines from being activated. Now let's go back to the dashboard again, and let's say that we know that this machine belongs to an employee who is no longer in need of the license. So we can remove them here. What I'm doing in the dashboard, you can also do through the API. So there is a method called key.deactivate that will accomplish the same thing that you can do in the dashboard. Now let's run this again. The license is valid. We go back to the dashboard, refresh, and we can see we now have that one activated as well. So one key takeaway from this is that, which I think is very important to keep in mind, is that I've talked a lot of times about the machine, or that we limit the license to a specific set of machines. However, what you define as machine is quite customizable. So, for example, in some cases, for example, you might want to prevent the user from running a limited number of processes on the same machine. So in that case, you would have to change this helpers.get machine code, or you would probably have to add a process or a process ID. If you're running your application runs in a Docker container, then you'll have a different way of identifying the instances. So from the Cryptolens standpoint, this is just a string value. But then in most of the use cases or most of the scenarios, the license typically is limited to a machine. And then you can use this helper.get machine code method. However, if you are running in an environment where this might not work, then you can define it in any other way that would be suitable in that environment. So today we've covered the topic of node lock licenses. Let's go back to the tutorial again. You can read more about all the tips and anything or other important points that are important to keep in mind, but I've mentioned most of them in this video. So that was that. Next would be about floating licenses. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you.